How to deal with all the politics. No, this video is not going to be about politics. It's going to be about how to deal with politics. Hey guys, welcome back. This is John, and I'm happy to say I'm drinking coffee this morning. This is Easter Sunday. Of course, I don't celebrate Easter in the way a lot of people do. So to me, this is just another day because I tend to celebrate Jeshua and his teachings every day. So I don't think of this as anything out of the ordinary today. But I got a comment a while back that it's been sitting on the video list for a while, and I wanted to go ahead and answer it. So let me just read the comment to you. John, please advise me on how I can avoid being angry and judgmental towards those who hold political power, who pass laws that are unkind, unloving to marginal populations, such as the trans community, as are going on at this time in many state assemblies. I realize that my anger is holding me back spiritually. Sometimes I send unkind emails to those narrow-minded legislators in my state. Well, it's an interesting thing. Let's start at the end of your comment. Sending the unkind, narrow-minded legislators emails. All that really does is embolden them to fight back. See, and whenever you're dealing in a situation that is contrary to what your beliefs are, when you react in a large, aggressive manner towards them, all you're doing is escalating, because now they're going to entrench themselves rather than coming towards you with any sort of alternate change. I like to ask questions in those times. So rather than me getting angry at them, I ask questions like, "So if it was your child, what would you do? If you were struggling with this issue, would you like someone to do this to you?" You know, I ask questions like that. I would not necessarily get angry or aggressive towards them, because it will embolden them. It'll make them want to do more. The thing about being angry, the top of your question says, how can I avoid being angry and judgmental towards those who hold the political power? You know, this country is made of people of all different beliefs, faiths, and some of the things that we're dealing with right now is, quite honestly, it's not really political. Political is just the means through which they're pushing their agendas. It actually is religious. It's actually a religious, dogmatic thing, which is it's the direct reason why there should be a separation from church and state, and there isn't. What happens if you don't have a separation of church and state is you end up with caliphates, and you have Taliban rule, and you have Iranian, like in Iran, they have, the women can't wander the streets with their hair down and being an equal individual in society. That's because of a religious structure, not a political one. The politics are just the tools with which they inflict their religious beliefs. And it's the same thing that's happening here in the States right now. People get very specific beliefs, and they tie it to a certain causes that that they can lean into. For instance, the gun issue. You'll notice if you go on YouTube right now, there's a ton of channels there's one actually called Guns and God, or God and Guns, or something like that. It's all about all the religious people and their automatic weapons. When you see the state legislatures having assemblies, and the guys show up outside and they're wearing their body armor and they're carrying the AR-15s, that's not about freedom to bear arms. That's about freedom to impose. That's about they're trying to impose their desires on the rest of society. And they're doing it through terror. They're showing up with guns to scare people. And so it really is not about the politics. It's about people wanting to be right and people wanting to be specifically religiously right in this country. The religious right has really done a lot of stuff. Now, obviously, I'm kind of sharing my politics. On the other end of the spectrum, I've heard people on the liberal side say it should be against the law for people to be billionaires, and they should be banned. It should not be allowed, and that I actually heard one say that if someone became a billionaire, they would make a law that said anything over $1 billion would be given back to all the employees because that's the way it should work. And it's interesting because that kind of goes against the principles of you can be anything you want in America, and billionaires should be one of them, right? So I don't lean all the way to the left. I don't lean all the way to the right. I am left leaning, which is interestingly enough the majority of the country. But when you look at the laws and things that are happening right now, you have to look at the other things that are happening right now. Wisconsin, their Supreme Court just flipped to liberal dominance because the people in the state said no, we're done. Roe versus Wade was the line that you crossed, right? The country is slowly shifting back, and over the course of the last 8 years, during the rise of the right, we've seen a lot of very horrible things. We've seen racist. I live in Akron, Ohio, and there was just a neo-Nazi rally about a half an hour from my house, and it's emboldened all those things. But the other thing it did was it kind of made them all come out into the light so we could actually see them. We know just because of the voter registration, this country is predominantly liberal leaning. It's predominantly liberal leaning. And if you'll notice, the ones who are afraid of losing that power are doing all the things, the gerrymandering and all the stuff to seize power. But what's happening right now is a lot of that is being exposed. And, as Yoda said, named must your fears be before banished you can. Well, now the things that have happened that are being done are being exposed. I think there are good people on the right and there are good people on the left. I don't think that everyone, I think if we think in broad generalities or polarities, I think we end up with a situation where we're creating a battle between the two. I think there are people like Adam Kinzinger. He was a Republican who is a small government Republican, but he's not a far right Republican. And then there are people like Adam Schiff, who is a moderate Democrat. And then there's people like Bernie Sanders, who is the one who literally said being a billionaire should be illegal. So you have all broad spectrums. When they start passing these things, the only thing we do is we protest. But if you get into the anger, you're actually feeding their power. You should go in there and say, okay, this can't stand, and start to organize, but don't go into it mad. Go into it and says, no, we're changing this. The choice to be angry is not about your power. It's about your fear. It's about your fear. It's about you being afraid. Exhale. Let it go. Say, okay, they're doing this. Well, we're going to change that. And how do we change that? We organize. We grab people. We start to get the walls overturned by voting people out, moving people out, just like they did in Wisconsin. It's a matter of just staying calm and going, okay, I can be an action hero or a reaction zero. Am I going to react to this and empower them? Or am I going to go, okay, this is happening. This is just the information I have. Now, these are the things I can do. I can sign this petition. I can go walk outside of a building and show my distaste. I can write a letter to my politician who that is not angry or mad, but lays out a intellectual case for why their decisions are wrong, so that they at least have the opportunity to see it, right? Not that they will. Many of them will not, because they are angry. They are in that state of, we're right, you're wrong. And it comes down to the idea that we have the ability to take the higher road, to turn the other cheek. Now, turning the other cheek does not mean ignore it or walk away from it. It means to not get angry about it, not put ourselves in a state of our own distress, because you getting angry only hurts you. It hurts you and empowers them. So don't give them the power. Make the changes. Go do the things you need to do. I have walked in parades in D.C. I have stood on the Capitol with James Twyman when he did his prayer for his song for peace on the Capitol steps. I've done all those things. I was never angry during them. I just showed up and made a stand, so people that could see it. So the idea of this is you getting angry, you getting mad, is not really the effective strategy. The effective strategy is to stay calm. And now here's the interesting thing: when you exhale, you get back into your cognitive thinking mind. When you're mad, you're not in your cognitive thinking mind. You are being reactive. But when you let go and get back into your mind, okay, this is what they did. This is how we're going to solve this. Get very practical about it, because the less emotional you get about it, the more effective you are and the more you get done. I hope this answers your question. And let me add one more thing you said. I realize that anger is holding me back spiritually. Fears and anxieties are a part of being here. There's no advance towards spirituality. You're always spiritual. And sometimes imagine the world like a room made of love, because God is love. We're in this room full of love, and there's a fog machine in the room, and the fog can get really thick and you can't see. You get angry and mad, and the fog can be really thin. It can be beautiful and loving. And then suddenly, after you realize the fog changes and moves, then you look down and you realize it's your hand on the knob that's turning it up or turning it down. And once you realize that you have control of how angry you are, how you're reacting to things, then you can actually realize when you start to feel those ways, all you have to do is exhale. Okay, what happened? What's the best solution for this? Let's present this to them this way, and then let's organize and get whoever's voted out, no matter which side they are on. That's the way democracy works. That's the way government works, and that's the way Joshua would have worked. He did get his moments of anger. That I'll tell you, he did get angry sometimes, but he didn't last, and he didn't hold on to it. And that's the important part of this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. The John of New channel is solely funded by your generous donations and purchases of private readings and merchandise. To help out, go to johnofnew.com or use the donation link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.